Now it's time for our regular creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, to join us in studio to share some tips on how parents can help their child persevere through the commitments they make.
So we're talking parenting on your Feel Good Breakfast show this morning, giving very, very valuable advice to all you parents out there. Now, children are surrounded by so many choices today, often changing their minds and getting their own way. Now, this can result in a lack of self-discipline and commitment, which are important qualities for 21st century living. Now, our regular creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, joins us in studio to tell us more about this commitment topic. I love it. Nikki, good morning. Welcome to the show again. Fast-paced lives we're living nowadays, 21st century, like I've said as well. You talk about, the dipping in culture when it comes to our children. What exactly does that mean?
Ewan, we are seeing that children are dipping in and pulling out of relationships and friendships very quickly. And I think a lot of that is because of things like social media. Kids are exposed to many more children today. They think they've got lots of friends. But what we're seeing is there are these very transient relationships. And before a friendship has even blossomed, they're pulling themselves out and connecting with more children. We see it in television and in media, on-screen media. Children have so much choice that they can channel surf and chop and change very quickly before they've even really got into something. We see it with extramural activities. There's so much more on offer today, and children go to one lesson or one session and then say, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. When we look at the 21st century, when we look at the world of work, I mean, you and I know that to succeed in life, you have to know how to persevere, how to stick to something.
You can't run away when things get difficult.
As soon as something gets a little bit uncomfortable, you can't just run away, because then you're never going to achieve anything. And that's what we're talking about here, is developing that trait of stickability within children.
Now, I want you to unpack that term for us, stickability, that you use. But I mean, it's also, I think, you talk about the amount of choices that we have, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I mean, but it's really up to parents out there to kind of help and guide the children and to motivate them to stick with something.
Sure, to narrow down the choices and actually to help a child to choose before they start something, not after they've started something. Yeah. And things cost money. So if your child's going to ballet lessons or tennis lessons or whatever, you need to get a sense of whether your child has a knack for this or an interest for this. That doesn't happen in the first lesson. Yeah. So up front it needs to be, so your child comes home and says, Mummy, I want to do ballet. And it needs to be, well, darling, right. Yeah. The only way it's going to work is that you have to do a month's worth of lessons or a term's worth of lessons in order to do this. And that's the choice up front. You either do that or you don't do it at all. And then obviously be encouraging through the process, because children take time to discover who they are, what they like. Often they might come home and say, and I don't want to do this, because actually maybe they didn't like a child in the class. It might not be the activity.
It could be something completely removed from what they are doing. And this links on to what you mean by stickability.
Yes.
I see. So this is the term that you would use to describe for parents to really go out and help their kids persevere.
Yes. So being a good cheerleader on the sideline. And sometimes it's not going to be easy, and you might have to take your child through the process of pushing through to another lesson or another session or another tournament. You have a child who maybe plays tennis and they're in a round robin tournament and they're getting beaten every time. That's tough. And pushing them and not pushing them, but encouraging them through that mental breakthrough to create that mental toughness that they can persevere, they can break through, they can actually do better than their own personal best. It's not so much about actually necessarily beating the other child, but actually doing more than your own personal best.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, it's also, parents need to learn to say no, but it's really, really so hard, because you love your baby. So what advice for the parents would you give?
Well, we see this every day in the shops. The children say, I want this, I want that. And it's so easy to just give in and to not hold your line. So I think the other thing is being present with your children, to have those conversations of encouragement. And very often children are alone today, and they don't have anybody to hold that space for them, saying, I believe in you. I know you can do this. I know you're going to be great. And sometimes that's all children need, is just that little bit of gentle encouragement.
Love it. Nikki, thank you so much. We're going to continue with this topic a little bit later on this morning. Stick around, some more parenting advice heading your way in just a little bit.